Welcome to our deep dive today
Oh, okay.
into the world of chimney sweeping.
Right.
We're going to be exploring some chimney sweeping manuals from 2013,
Okay.
which give a really cool mix of the history of chimney sweeping and some practical tips that are still relevant today.
Right.
I'm excited to learn more about this profession.
Yeah,
There's more to it than meets the eye, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a field that's evolved dramatically over time.
Okay.
And even the language used reflects that change.
Uh-huh.
You'll notice these manuals talk about sweeping and cleaning a chimney.
Right.
The industry
Oh,
is...
hey there. How can we help?
Hey, how are you today? This is Ray Gessner.
Well, hello, Ray. It's great to have you with us today.
Yeah, we're doing fantastic. Thanks for joining in.
So I noticed that you're talking about the manuals, and the author of those manuals is Marshall Peters. He is with to Certified Chimney Professionals, and he did an outstanding job. And so I just wanted to give him credit where credit is due, and he's just an awesome man.
Peter's really made a positive impact.
It's clear that the Certified Chimney Professionals organization is dedicated to their craft.
So it's cool that we're getting to learn from his work, right?
Absolutely. And those manuals are full of valuable insights into the profession.
I think it's so important to acknowledge the people who shape these industries.
It's fascinating how much the industry values those kinds of principles.
Yeah, it's not just about cleaning soot, it's about doing right by your customers.
Right.
Actually,
The industry itself prefers sweeping,
Okay.
probably because it sounds more traditional,
Yeah.
but official safety standards,
Right.
like the NFPA 211 use cleaning,
Okay.
it's subtle,
Yeah.
but it shows a shift towards a more professional and safety-conscious approach.
So right off the bat, we're talking about safety, but
Yeah.
what exactly makes chimney sweeping so dangerous?
Well,
To someone like me, it just sounds messy.
it's definitely messy, but it's historically been quite dangerous, too.
Yeah.
For centuries, young boys were forced into this work as climbing boys,
Right.
squeezing into these narrow soot-filled chimneys,
Oh, wow.
often with no safety gear at all.
Really?
Sadly, many of them died from dust inhalation cancer or falls.
Wow. I had no idea it was that bad.
It's a dark chapter for sure.
Yeah.
The manuals actually detail the horrible conditions they face,
Right.
like sleeping on bags of soot. Some even developed testicular cancer from prolonged soot exposure.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't until 1864 that using children for this work was finally outlawed in England.
It's amazing to think that used to be the norm.
Yeah,
Thankfully, things have changed drastically since then.
for sure.
So how did the industry become safer? Was it just a matter of new laws, or were there other factors at play?
New laws definitely helped,
Okay.
but the development of specialized tools played a huge role as well.
Okay.
Early sweeps relied on basic canes and brushes, often made from whalebone. Can you imagine?
Oh, wow.
But then in the 18th century,
Uh-huh.
an engineer named Joseph Glass invented the cane and brush system
Okay.
that's still used today.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
A design that stood the test of time.
Right.
But I'm guessing modern chimney sweeps use more than just canes and brushes, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Today's sweeps use all sorts of high-tech tools,
Okay.
like video scanners, to inspect the inside of chimneys,
Wow.
and powerful vacuums to suck up soot.
Okay.
But even with these advancements,
Mhm.
safety remains a top priority.
I can imagine there are still plenty of hazards involved.
So yeah,
What are some of the biggest safety concerns for modern chimney professionals?
well, the manuals emphasize a whole range of hazards,
Okay.
starting with something as basic as ladder safety.
Okay.
You wouldn't believe how many accidents happen
Yeah.
because ladders aren't secured properly.
Right.
They stress using nylon straps to attach ladders to vehicle
Uh-huh.
and always doing a walk-around inspection before climbing.
Right.
And of course, watching out for power lines,
Yeah.
especially with aluminum ladders.
It makes sense when you're working at those heights.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just cleaning windows on the ground floor.
Exactly.
Right.
And then there's the roof itself.
Oh, great. Yeah.
The manuals go into detail about the different types of roofs
Okay.
and their specific dangers.
Yeah.
Slate can be fragile,
Uh-huh.
metal gets incredibly slippery,
Right.
and tiles can break easily.
Oh, yeah.
Add in weather conditions like frost ice or rain,
Right.
and you've got a recipe for disaster.
So what's the best way for chimney professionals to stay safe when they're up on those roofs?
The manuals really stress doing a thorough risk assessment
Okay.
before even setting foot on a roof.
Right.
That means using roof ladders for extra stability,
Uh-huh.
wearing shoes with good grip,
Okay.
and being cautious about using the chimney for support.
Yeah.
It might not be as sturdy as it looks.
That makes sense. But how can you tell if a chimney is safe to lean on? I wouldn't know where to even start.
That's where the expertise of a certified chimney professional comes in.
Okay.
They're trained to spot the warning signs,
Yeah.
like missing mortar-leaning bricks,
Yeah.
cracks, or any other structural issues.
Right.
They know what to look for before it becomes a problem.
So it's not just about cleaning.
Right.
They need to be detectives, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the potential for danger doesn't end there.
Oh, no.
The manuals also talk about proper lifting techniques
Okay.
to prevent back injuries.
Right.
Imagine carrying all that heavy equipment
Yeah.
up and down ladders all day.
Oh, yeah.
They specifically recommend the squat lift
Uh-huh.
and hip bend lift to protect your back.
Okay, so we've got ladders, roofs, heavy lifting.
Right.
What about the soot itself?
Yeah,
That can't be good for you to breathe in all the time.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Chimney soot contains all sorts of nasty carcinogenic compounds
Oh, wow.
that can be absorbed through your skin,
Uh-huh.
lungs, and even your mouth.
Really?
Long-term exposure can lead to heart disease,
Oh, my God.
respiratory problems, and even cancer.
That's scary. What can chimney sweeps do to protect themselves?
The manuals are crystal clear on this.
Okay.
Protective clothing is non-negotiable.
Okay.
Gloves, masks, and coveralls are a must
Right.
to minimize contact and inhalation.
Yeah.
They also recommend regular checkups with your doctor
Okay.
and being upfront about your profession.
So it's basically treating chimney sweeping with the same caution you'd give any other hazardous job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's one more hazard we haven't talked about.
Oh, what's that?
Wildlife.
What?
Think about it.
Okay.
Bats, birds, raccoons, squirrels, even wasps.
Oh, yeah.
They all love to make chimneys their home.
Oh, wow. I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah.
What kind of risks do those critters pose?
Well, bats can carry rabies.
Oh.
So the manuals recommend using a mesh net to remove them
Okay.
and wearing protective gear,
Yeah.
especially when dealing with their droppings.
No.
Bird droppings, especially in enclosed spaces like chimneys,
Uh-huh.
can cause a respiratory illness called histoplasmosis.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just about soot and bricks. It's a whole ecosystem up there.
Yeah, you really need to be prepared for anything.
You're catching on?
Yeah.
And speaking of being prepared,
Okay.
let's talk about the tools of the trade.
Okay.
We've touched on some modern equipment,
Right?
but even the most basic tools have evolved over time.
Okay.
Let's start with the essentials,
Okay.
brushes and rods.
Okay.
What comes to mind when you think of those?
Honestly, just a simple brush on a long stick.
Yeah,
But I bet there's more to it than that.
you're right.
Okay.
There's a surprising variety of brushes and rods for different tasks.
Okay.
For example, there's a special U-shaped brush
Okay.
that's perfect for cleaning those tricky glazed thimbles.
Hold on. You mentioned glazed thimbles earlier.
Yeah.
What are those and why are they so tricky to clean?
Good question.
Yeah.
They're basically these narrow glazed ceramic sections that
Hmm.
connect the stovepipe to the chimney liner.
Okay.
They're notorious for being tough to clean
Right.
because of their smooth surface and narrow opening.
I see.
That's where the U-brush comes in handy.
So even in the world of chimney sweeping,
Yeah,
there's a specialized tool for every job.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you've got different types of rods,
Right.
like fiberglass, polypropylene, and even the traditional rattan rods.
Okay.
Plus, there are the more specialized tools,
Okay.
like chemical cleaners for breaking down creosote
Right.
and video scanners for getting a clear view inside those dark and twisty flues.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't forget about those trusty drop cloths.
Speaking of drop cloths,
Oh, yeah.
the manuals had a surprising safety tip about them.
Okay.
Apparently, they can be incredibly slippery on hard floors like vinyl or wood.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that safety is about being aware of even those seemingly minor details.
Right.
It's about thinking one step ahead
Yeah.
and anticipating potential hazards.
So we've covered the hazards, the tools, and a bit of the history.
Right.
But what about the actual process of inspecting and cleaning a chimney?
Okay.
The manuals mention something called inspection levels.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that means?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The NFPA 211 outlines a standardized system of chimney inspections with 3 levels,
Okay.
each serving a different purpose.
All right.
Think of it like going to the doctor.
Okay.
Sometimes you just need a basic checkup, and other times you need something more in-depth.
Okay, so tell me about level 1.
Okay.
What does that involve?
Level 1 is like your annual physical for your chimney.
Okay.
It's usually done during routine cleaning
Okay.
and focuses on the readily accessible areas.
Okay.
It involves checking for things like soot buildup,
Mm-hmm.
making sure the flue is clear,
Yeah.
and verifying the liner's condition.
So it's about catching those everyday issues
Right.
before they turn into bigger problems.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're also making sure the appliance is connected properly
Right.
and that there are no obvious signs of damage or deterioration.
Got it. So when would you need to go beyond a level 1 inspection?
Level 2 is for when there's reason to suspect more extensive issues.
Okay.
This might be triggered by something like selling a property,
Mm-hmm.
an appliance malfunction,
Okay.
or even a severe storm that could have damaged the chimney.
So it's a more thorough investigation.
Actually,
Okay.
Level 2 includes everything from level 1,
Right.
but goes further by using a video scanner to peek inside the flue
Okay.
and examining accessible parts of the chimney structure
Uh-huh.
in places like the attic or crawl space.
And I'm guessing level 3 is the most serious.
That's right.
Yeah.
Level 3 is the most comprehensive
Right.
and is reserved for those situations where you need to investigate the concealed areas of a chimney,
Okay.
the parts that aren't easily accessible.
So if you suspect major structural issues or hidden damage, level 3 is the way to go.
Exactly.
Okay.
It involves specialized tools and a deeper knowledge of chimney construction
That's right.
to ensure the chimney's safety and integrity.
Yeah.
Think of it like a full-body scan for your chimney,
Right.
leaving no stone unturned.
It sounds like chimney professionals need to be quite knowledgeable.
Oh, yeah.
It's more than just sweeping soot.
Yeah,
They're responsible for identifying potential hazards
right.
and ensuring the safety of both the chimney and the people who rely on it.
You're getting it.
Yeah.
Understanding how chimneys work is a big part of the job.
Okay.
And these manuals go deep into the science behind it all. They even break down the 3 stages of wood combustion:
Okay.
drying pyrolysis and
Right.
charcoal formation.
Wow.
It's fascinating.
Now, you might be wondering, why should I care how wood burns?
Right.
Well, it all comes down to this nasty stuff called creosote.
Yeah.
Imagine this.
Okay.
Every time you burn wood,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't completely turn to ash.
Right.
Some of it turns into this sticky, flammable gunk
Yeah.
that clings to the inside of your chimney,
Yeah.
the way wood burns.
Mm.
Those 3 stages we talked about
Right.
directly impacts how much creosote forms.
Right.
Creosote.
Yeah.
Isn't that the stuff that causes chimney fires?
You got it.
Okay,
Creosote is highly flammable
right.
and a major concern for chimney professionals.
Yeah.
It forms when the gases from burning wood don't fully burn off
Okay.
and condense on the chimney walls,
Uh-huh.
building up over time.
And I'm guessing that buildup is what makes it dangerous.
Exactly.
Right.
The manuals actually detail the different stages of creosote formation,
Uh-huh.
from the initial sooty deposits
Okay.
to the thick glazed layers that are especially prone to catching fire.
Right.
It's like going from a thin dusting of flour to a thick layer of cake batter in your chimney,
Okay.
but a whole lot more dangerous.
Okay, that's a pretty vivid image.
Yeah,
So chimney sweeps don't just clean.
right.
They need to understand how creosote forms and how to prevent it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A big part of their job is educating homeowners about using seasoned wood, maintaining proper airflow,
Uh-huh.
and getting regular inspections and cleanings.
So it's almost like a public service announcement.
Yeah.
But speaking of chimney fires,
Yeah.
how common are they? And are they really as dangerous as they sound?
They're more common than you might think.
Really?
The manuals actually tell a story about a homeowner who had no idea they'd experienced a chimney fire.
Oh.
They only found out during an inspection
Oh, no.
when the sweep noticed warped metal and cracked tiles.
Oh, gosh.
It's a good reminder that these fires can be sneaky and dangerous.
Wow. So you may not even know you've had one.
Right.
Yeah.
Chimney fires can burn intensely, but quickly,
Okay.
leaving behind subtle clues that only a trained eye would catch.
Right.
They can reach temperatures over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit,
Oh, my gosh.
hot enough to damage the chimney structure,
Yeah.
spread to nearby materials,
All right.
or even cause the chimney to collapse.
Okay, that's definitely something to be concerned about. It
Yeah.
sounds like regular inspections are a must.
For sure.
But how do chimney professionals know if a fire has happened? Especially if the homeowner is unaware.
Right.
What are some of the telltale signs they look for?
They're looking for clues like warped metal components,
Okay.
crack or missing flue tiles,
Mm-hmm.
and discoloration of the chimney exterior. It's
Yeah.
like being a chimney detective,
Right.
piecing together the evidence to determine if a fire has occurred.
So it's like chimney CSI.
Exactly.
But we've talked about combustion creosote and chimney fires.
Right.
What other chimney science do we need to understand?
Well, to really grasp how chimneys work,
Okay.
we need to delve into the concepts of draft and flow.
Okay.
These are the 2 fundamental principles
Uh-huh.
that dictate how efficiently a chimney removes smoke and combustion byproducts.
Okay.
Think of draft as the pressure difference that drives the flow of gases up the chimney.
Okay.
It's created by the temperature difference
Yeah.
between the warm air inside the chimney
Yeah.
and the cooler air outside.
Yeah.
The warmer the air inside,
Huh?
but stronger the draft.
So like a natural vacuum pulling the smoke up and out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And flow refers to the volume of air moving through the chimney.
Right.
The larger the flue, the greater the potential flow.
Yeah, okay.
The manuals use a great analogy.
Okay.
Imagine a fire truck hose.
All right.
The draft is like the water pressure,
Okay.
and the flow is like the volume of water coming out.
Right.
You need sufficient pressure to drive a strong flow of water,
Right.
just like you need a strong draft for good airflow in a chimney.
That's a helpful way to think about it.
Yeah.
So a weak draft would mean a weak flow of smoke,
Right.
potentially leading to smoke backing up into the house, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And several factors can affect both draft and flow,
Right.
including the chimney's height,
Uh-huh.
the flue size,
Yeah.
and even the wind conditions.
It sounds like troubleshooting chimney problems involves a bit of detective work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The manuals actually lay out a 3-step process.
Okay.
First, gather the symptoms.
Okay.
Then offer a temporary solution to test your theory.
Uh-huh.
Finally, implement a permanent solution based on your findings.
It's a systematic approach.
Yeah.
It must take a lot of knowledge to be able to diagnose and fix these issues.
You need a deep understanding
Right.
of how combustion, creosote formation, draft, and flow all interact
Yeah.
to affect chimney performance.
Right.
It's a fascinating puzzle.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
From historical hazards to the science behind chimney function.
Right.
But there's one key component we haven't discussed yet.
Okay.
Chimney liners.
Oh, yeah, those are important.
What role do they play in all of this?
Chimney liners are absolutely crucial for safety and efficiency.
Okay.
They act as a protective barrier
Okay.
between those super hot combustion byproducts
Right.
and the chimney structure itself,
Oh.
preventing heat transfer that could lead to a house fire.
So they're like a firewall between the fire and my house.
Exactly.
Okay.
They contain the heat and direct it safely up and out.
Right.
Liners are also vital for ensuring smooth airflow,
Okay.
meaning those harmful gases can escape efficiently,
Right.
preventing smoke from backing up into your living space.
It sounds like they're pretty important for keeping the whole system running smoothly.
They are.
Yeah.
And there's one more crucial reason:
Okay. What's that?
longevity.
Okay.
Chimney liners protect the chimney structure itself
Okay.
from the corrosive effects of those combustion byproducts.
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Those acidic gases and moisture
Yeah.
can wear away at the brick and mortar over time.
So a liner protects the chimney from its own fiery breath.
Exactly.
Wow.
Liners take the brunt of the abuse,
Yeah.
helping the chimney last much longer.
Okay.
But you know, there's not just one type of liner.
Oh,
There are
right.
different options, each with its own pros and cons.
Well, this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm ready to learn more about these different liners. Welcome back to our deep dive into all things chimney sweeping. Last time we talked about the history of the profession, the evolution of tools, and some of the hazards chimney professionals face. We even got a little taste of chimney science with all that talk about creosote draft and flow.
And we left off on a bit of a cliffhanger, those all-important chimney liners.
Oh, that's right.
So let's jump right back in. You mentioned that there are different types of liners.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. Remember those clay tiles we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
They're the most traditional type of liner, especially in older homes. They've been around for ages and can last a long time if they're properly installed and maintained.
Right, like those classic red bricks you see in older fireplaces.
Exactly.
But I'm guessing they're not without their drawbacks.
You're right. Their biggest weakness is something called thermal shock. Basically, clay tiles, while durable, can crack or even shatter if they're exposed to sudden intense heat, like during a chimney fire.
Oh, wow.
They can also crack over time just from normal wear and tear and moisture.
So not ideal if you have a roaring fire going. What are some alternatives to those classic clay tiles?
Well, metal liners have become increasingly popular. They're usually made of aluminum for gas appliances or stainless steel for all fuel types, including wood, coal, and pellets.
Okay, metal liners. Those sound more heavy duty. What are the advantages of using them?
Metal liners come in a couple of forms: rigid sections of pipe and flexible liners that can snake through those curvy chimney passages. They're more resistant to thermal shock than clay tiles, less likely to crack, and they have a smoother interior surface, which helps with airflow. Plus, they're generally lighter and easier to install.
It sounds like metal liners have a lot going for them. But you mentioned different types of stainless steel. What's the deal with that?
Well, just like with anything else, there are different grades of stainless steel that offer varying levels of resistance to corrosion and heat. The most common grade used for liners is 304. It's a good all-around performer, but if you really push your fireplace or stove to the limit, there are higher grades available, like 316, 316 Ti, and 321.
So it's about choosing the right grade of stainless steel based on how you use your fireplace or stove. Yeah. And the type of fuel you burn.
Exactly. Now, there's one more type of liner we haven't talked about yet. They're called cast-in-place liners, and they're made from a special cement-like mixture that's poured directly into the existing chimney flue.
So instead of individual tiles or sections of pipe, it's one solid liner. What are the advantages of that?
Well, cast-in-place liners are incredibly durable and resistant to heat corrosion and erosion. But here's the really cool part. They can actually reinforce a weakened chimney, adding structural support and preventing further deterioration.
That's amazing. So if you have an older chimney that's seen better days, a cast-in-place liner could be a great way to give it a new lease on life.
You got it. They're a popular choice for those tricky situations where you need both protection and reinforcement. But with all these different options, how do you know which type of liner is right for a particular chimney?
That's where the expertise of a certified chimney professional really comes in. They consider several factors, like the type of appliance you have, the age and condition of your chimney, the type of fuel you burn, and of course your budget.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Definitely not. For example, a high-efficiency furnace has different venting needs than a cozy fireplace. And if you have an older chimney with cracked tiles, a metal or cast-in-place liner might be the best option to restore its safety and integrity.
It sounds like a chimney professional acts like a doctor, diagnosing the problem and recommending the best treatment. But what about those situations where a chimney already has a liner, but it's damaged or worn out? Do you always need a brand new liner?
Not always. If it's just a few cracks or some missing mortar, they might be able to repair the existing liner using a sealant or a technique called repointing. But if the damage is extensive, a full replacement is usually the safest and most effective option.
So chimney relining is the process of either repairing or replacing the existing liner to restore the chimney's safety and functionality.
Exactly. It's a vital service that ensures the longevity and safety of chimneys, especially those that have been through a lot over the years, whether it's wear and tear or damage from chimney fires.
Okay, so walk me through the relining process. What are the steps involved?
The first step is a thorough inspection. A certified chimney professional will examine the existing liner carefully, looking for cracks, gaps, corrosion, or any signs of deterioration. They'll also assess the overall condition of the chimney structure to see if there are any underlying issues that need attention.
So it's like a pre-op checkup for the chimney, making sure everything is in order before proceeding with the main event.
Precisely. Once the inspection is complete, they'll recommend the best relining method based on their findings. If it's a minor repair, they might just seal cracks or repoint missing mortar. But if it's a full replacement, they'll typically install a new metal liner or use a cast-in-place system.
Let's talk about those full replacement methods. What's involved in installing a new metal liner?
With metal liners, you essentially have two choices: rigid liners or flexible liners. Rigid liners come in sections of pipe that are connected and lower down the chimney from the top.
So it's like building a giant metal puzzle inside the chimney.
Exactly. And flexible liners, as the name suggests, are more bendable, making them easier to install in chimneys with curves or offsets.
Flexible liners, that sounds really handy for those tricky chimney layouts.
They are. And both rigid and flexible liners are usually insulated to make them more efficient and prevent condensation.
So it's not just about the liner itself, it's also about the surrounding insulation. What about cast-in-place liners? How are those installed?
Cast-in-place liners are a bit more involved, but they create an incredibly durable and seamless solution. They start by thoroughly cleaning the chimney flue to remove any debris. Then they insert a special form into the flue, which acts as a mold for the liner material.
So it's kind of like pouring concrete into a foundation, except it's happening inside the chimney.
That's a great analogy. Once the form is in place, they pump or pour a cement-like mixture into the flue, filling the space between the form and the chimney walls. This mixture hardens, and then they remove the form, leaving a smooth, seamless, and incredibly strong liner.
It sounds like a pretty impressive process.
It is. And as we talked about before, one of the biggest advantages of cast-in-place liners is that they can actually reinforce the chimney structure, adding extra strength and preventing further damage.
So if your chimney needs a bit more support, a cast-in-place liner can be a great option. We've covered a lot of information about the different liner types and relining methods, but what are some of the key factors that make a relining project successful? What separates a good job from a bad one?
That's a great question. The success of any relining project comes down to a few key things: expertise, precision, and attention to detail.
Mm.
First and foremost, you need a certified chimney professional who really knows their stuff. They need to understand chimney construction, the different liner types, and the proper installation techniques.
So this isn't something you want to DIY, right? It's a job for a specialist.
You got it. It takes a trained eye to assess a chimney's needs, recommend the right liner, and ensure the installation is done correctly.
What about precision? Why is that so important in chimney relining?
Precision is key throughout the whole process, from accurately measuring the chimney to cutting the liner materials to the exact specifications. Even a small mistake can have consequences.
It makes sense that even a slight miscalculation could lead to problems down the line.
Absolutely. And then there's the attention to detail. Things like properly sealing all the joints and connections, ensuring adequate insulation, and making sure there's enough clearance from combustible materials are all crucial for a safe and successful relining job. It's about going the extra mile and getting all those little details, right?
So it's not just about slapping in a new liner, it's about doing it carefully and making sure everything is done to the highest standard.
Exactly. When a relining job is done well, it can extend the life of a chimney for decades, ensuring its safety and efficiency for years to come. It's an investment worth making.
Okay, so we've talked about how important liners are, the different types available, and the ins and outs of relining. We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have chimney liners are essential for safety, efficiency, and longevity. They protect both the chimney structure and your home from the intense heat and corrosive byproducts of combustion.
And we've learned that choosing the right liner depends on several things, like the type of appliance you have, the type of fuel you burn, the age and condition of your chimney, and of course your budget.
Exactly. If your existing liner is damaged or worn out, relining is crucial to restore its function and safety, whether it's through repair or replacement.
And as we've emphasized, choosing a certified chimney professional is essential to get the job done right. Their expertise and attention to detail make a huge difference in the success and longevity of a relining project.
Absolutely. But there's one more type of chimney we need to discuss: factory-built chimneys, those prefabricated systems that are becoming more common in modern homes.
That's right. Factory-built chimneys present their own unique set of challenges and considerations, and that's exactly what we'll be exploring in part 3 of our deep dive. Welcome back. We've covered a lot of ground in our chimney deep dive so far, from the history of chimney sweeping to the different types of liners and how to keep those liners in tip-top shape.
And now we're moving into the 21st century to talk about something you see a lot in newer homes:
Yeah,
factory-built chimneys.
exactly. They're also known as prefab chimneys, and they seem to be popping up everywhere these days.
Yeah.
What's the deal with them?
Well, they've become super popular for a few reasons. First, they're generally easier and faster to install than traditional masonry chimneys, which can be a big plus during construction.
Yeah.
They're also lighter, putting less stress on a building's structure, and often more affordable.
So efficiency, cost effectiveness, and modern construction go hand in hand. But before we get into the specifics, can you paint a picture for me? What does a factory-built chimney look like? How is it different from that classic brick chimney we're all used to seeing?
Good question. Instead of those stately brick or stone chimneys, factory-built chimneys are usually made of lightweight metal components, often stainless steel or galvanized steel. They come pre-assembled in sections, making them easier to put together, kind of like a big Lego set for your house.
So it's like a chimney in a box.
Yeah.
You just pop it in and you're good to go.
Well, it's not quite that simple, but you get the idea.
Right.
And they're designed with safety in mind. They often have features like double-walled construction for insulation and built-in fire stops to prevent flames from spreading.
Okay, so they're engineered for safety and ease of installation. But just like with any chimney, regular inspection and maintenance are important, right?
Absolutely. And this is where things can get tricky with factory-built chimneys.
Okay, how so?
Because they're made of metal. You can't always see potential problems as easily as you can with a masonry chimney. Rust, corrosion, or even small gaps in the metal can be hidden from view, but they can still compromise safety and efficiency.
So it's kind of an out of sight, out of mind situation.
Exactly. That's why it's crucial to have factory-built chimneys inspected by a professional who knows what to look for and has the tools to spot those subtle signs of trouble.
Okay, so what should homeowners be aware of? What are the key things a chimney professional would focus on when inspecting a factory-built chimney?
They'd start by carefully checking the outside of the chimney, looking for any rust, corrosion, or damage to the metal parts. They'll also make sure the joints and connections are tight and secure.
Those connections are crucial for preventing leaks and keeping the whole structure stable, right?
You're absolutely right. Then they'll move on to the inside of the chimney, often using a special video camera to see what's going on in the flue. They'll be checking for creosote buildup debris or damage to the liner and making sure the insulation and fire stops are in good condition.
So it's a thorough checkup inside and out, just like with a traditional chimney.
Precisely. And just like with masonry chimneys, how often you need an inspection depends on how often you use the chimney, the type of appliance it's connected to, and the type of fuel you burn.
Okay, inspections are covered. What about cleaning? Are factory-built chimneys just as likely to get clogged with creosote as masonry chimneys?
That's a great question. The answer is it depends. Because they have smooth metal flues, factory-built chimneys tend to accumulate less creosote than those rough brick flues. But it can still build up, especially if the appliance isn't burning efficiently or if you're burning unseasoned wood.
So even with a factory-built chimney, you still need to think about those basic chimney sweeping practices.
Absolutely. Regular cleaning is key to preventing chimney fires and keeping things running smoothly. And it's important to use the right tools and techniques when cleaning these chimneys. Harsh brushes or abrasive cleaners can actually damage the metal liner, making it less safe and shortening its lifespan.
It's like washing a delicate fabric. You want to be gentle but effective.
Exactly. A qualified chimney professional will have the right tools and know how to clean a factory-built chimney thoroughly without causing any damage.
Okay, so we've talked about inspections and cleaning. What about repairs? What are some common problems that can pop up with factory-built chimneys and how are they fixed?
Well, one of the most common issues is rust and corrosion, especially in areas where moisture can collect, like around the chimney cap or the joints. Depending on the severity, a chimney pro can clean the metal, apply a sealant to prevent further rust, or replace small sections of damaged components.
So it's like patching a leaky roof, taking care of those problem areas before they get worse.
Exactly. Another common problem is damage to the liner, which can happen because of chimney fires, improper cleaning, or just wear and tear over time. Sometimes they can replace just the damaged section of liner, but in more severe cases, you might need to reline the whole chimney.
Okay, so relining a factory-built chimney, is that the same process as relining a masonry chimney?
It can be similar, but there are some key differences. With factory-built chimneys, you're working in a tighter space, and the metal components often require specialized tools and techniques. Plus, there are specific safety considerations, like making sure everything is properly grounded to prevent electrical hazards.
It sounds like it requires a higher level of precision and expertise.
Absolutely. It's really important to find a chimney professional who has experience working with factory-built chimneys. They'll have the right skills and equipment to do the job safely and effectively.
So we've explored the construction inspection, cleaning repairs, and even relining of factory-built chimneys. What are the key takeaways for homeowners who have these systems in their homes?
The biggest takeaway is that even though factory-built chimneys are generally reliable, they still need regular inspections and maintenance, just like any other chimney.
So no chimney gets a free pass.
Exactly. The second takeaway is that if you need your factory-built chimney inspected, cleaned, repaired, or relined, you need to find a chimney professional who specializes in these systems. They'll have the right expertise to keep your chimney running safely and efficiently for years to come.
It's all about finding the right expert for the job.
Exactly. And that brings us to the end of our chimney sweeping deep dive.
Wow, we've learned so much from the fascinating history of the profession to the science behind how chimneys work, the importance of safety and maintenance, and even the ins and outs of different liner types.
We've covered it all, from those city sweeps of the past to the modern professionals who keep our homes warm and safe today.
It's amazing how much this industry has evolved.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to safety and keeping those fires burning bright.
Well said. So to all our listeners out there, if you're planning on cozying up by the fireplace this winter, remember what we've learned today.
Get those chimneys inspected and cleaned by a qualified professional.
Stay safe and enjoy those warm and toasty fires.
And maybe learn a little more about the fascinating world of chimney sweeping.
Until next time, happy heating, everyone.